Long ago, in a small village in old Japan, there lived an old man and an old woman. They had no children. They had no rice. They had no money. But they had each other and a small wooden house at the edge of the snowy mountains. It was the day before Omisoka, New Year's Eve. In every other house in the village, families were preparing to welcome the new year. There would be mochi, there would be fish, there would be sake and laughter and the warm light of lanterns. But in the old man's house, there was only a small fire and a bowl of plain rice between them. The old man looked at his wife. "Tomorrow is New Year's Eve," he said. "We have nothing to celebrate with. But I will go into town today. I will sell what we have." He went out to the shed and gathered armfuls of dried sedge grass. All morning he wove. By midday, he had finished 5 straw hats. Kasa, the traveller's hats, the kind to keep snow off your head in winter. "Maybe," he said, "someone in town will buy them." The old man set out into the cold. The snow was deep. The road wound for many miles down through the pines. His old legs grew tired, but he kept walking, the bundle of hats on his back, his breath rising white in the air. By the time he reached the town, the market was full. Merchants called out. Children ran past. Smoke from food stalls filled the cold air. "Hats! Straw hats! Good hats for snow!" called the old man. But no one stopped. People were buying rice for the new year. People were buying fish and sake and red beans. No one needed a hat. All afternoon, the old man stood in the snow. The sun began to sink. The market began to empty, and he had not sold a single hat. At last, with a small sigh, the old man picked up his hats and turned for home. He had nothing to bring his wife. No rice, no fish, no coin. Only the hats he had carried all day. The snow fell harder. The road was long. Halfway home, by the side of the road, the old man came upon 6 stone Jizo, the kindly stone statues that guard travellers and children, that stand silent in all weathers. They had been there for as long as he could remember. Tonight, they were buried in snow. Snow covered their heads. Snow covered their kindly stone faces. They looked cold, cold and forgotten on this last night of the year. The old man set down his bundle. "You poor things," he said softly. "It is cold tonight. The snow falls on your heads, and there is no one to brush it off." With his old hands, he brushed the snow from the first Jizo, then the second, then the third. He cleared each kindly stone face until all 6 looked at him in the failing light. "I have nothing to give you," he said. "Only these hats I could not sell." He took up his hats and counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hats. 6 Jizo. He placed a hat on the first Jizo. He tied the string under its stone chin as one would tie a hat on a child. The second, the third, the fourth, the 5th, the 6th Jizo stood bareheaded in the snow. The old man looked at the last Jizo. He had nothing left. Then, He reached up and untied the cloth wrapped around his own head. His old tenuji, thin, worn, but warm. "You shall not be left out," he said. "Take mine. I am almost home." And he tied his own cloth around the head of the 6th Jizo. The old man bowed once to the 6 stone guardians. Then he turned and walked the long road home through the falling snow, with no hat on his own head and nothing in his hands. When he reached his small house, his wife was waiting by the fire. She looked at him, empty-handed, snow on his shoulders, no scarf on his head. He told her everything. The market, the unsold hats, the 6 Jizo in the snow. When he had finished, his wife did not scold him. She did not weep. She only smiled. "You did well, old man," she said. "Come, warm yourself by the fire. We have rice. We have each other. That is enough for tonight." They ate their small meal of rice. They drank warm water. They lay down together by the fire as the snow fell softly outside, and they slept. The night grew deep. The wind died. The whole world was quiet. Late in the night, the old man's eyes opened. A sound, a heavy, dull sound, just outside the door. Thump, and again, thump. Then, silence. He listened. He could hear voices, soft, low voices, like the chanting of old monks. They were singing very quietly on the road outside. And then they were gone. The old man closed his eyes and slept again. When morning came, the first morning of the new year, the old man and his wife opened their door. And there, piled high in the snow, were gifts. Rice, red beans, fish wrapped in straw, mochi, a cask of sake, new clothes, gold coins shining in the morning sun. And leading away from the door, into the white snow, were 6 sets of small, heavy footprints, and one trail of cloth fluttering in the wind. The old man and his wife looked at each other, and they bowed, in the doorway of their small house, to the kindly stone guardians who had brought a new year. This tale is called Kasa Jizo, the hat-wearing Jizo. In Japan, Jizo are gentle Buddhist guardians, often carved in stone, who watch over children, travelers, and souls in their long journey. You can find them by roadsides all across the country, even today, sometimes with a small red bib tied around their necks, sometimes with a flower placed at their feet. The story teaches that kindness given without thought of reward, kindness even to silent stones, never goes unanswered. Thank you for listening. May your new year be warm. May your dreams be peaceful.